Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Heel Podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott and Mike. We're going to be starting off with Mike talking about some big news coming from DC and Star Wars. Then we're going to be moving on to talk about our thoughts about Season 2 and the final season of Luke Cage. Then we're going to move on to talk about Harley Quinn and then the latest episode of Invincible, ending with none other than a character spotlight from Mike himself. So let's get right into this. Mike, tell us the big news that you sat down with James Gunn and um oh my god, what is his name for Star Wars? It's
Dave
Happy.
Filoni. Dave Filoni.
Yeah, but
Uh,
isn't the other guy Happy from the
yeah,
Avengers?
he's also in charge. Oh man, I forget his name. Oh
Right?
god.
I completely lost it. I don't remember now, and it's bothering the hell out of me. But anyway, let's get right into the big news that you supposedly have kept from me for so long.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of stuff posted, and I've been leaving you alone this week. So first thing you forgot, I do have some stuff for Disney stuff. Marvel.
Oh, I
One
did
thing.
not know that. Continue.
Yep. One thing that got popped up was Marvel Studios. One of their executives uh, said that although they although Marvel and Disney have the rights to Spider-Man for animated stuff, um,
They still don't have it for live action?
Tom Holland cannot appear in live action TV shows because apparently Sony has the long form television rights, but Disney has short animated rights for Spider-Man.
Interesting.
Um, I thought that was interesting. I just
Well,
think this
because of
whole,
what we were thinking about, because of where we thought we were going to be seeing him next.
yeah. I mean, this is just like all over the place. We know the Spider-Man deal is just all wonky, and
Well, to be fair, the fact that we got the Defenders back, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world that we don't have Spider-Man in it.
no,
Um, but that being said, I get your point because the idea was they were supposed to be all working together.
yeah.
But obviously that's not the case. I wonder though, is it a money thing or is it also a contract thing where Tom Holland can't voice the animated characters? That's what
I
I'm
mean,
curious about.
it's probably
Contract.
it's probably a contract because he signed in for the live action Spider-Man, so they're trying to keep that separate because you know
No,
how it
that's
is.
fine.
Sony
No, no, no.
Sony still claims him as theirs,
That's
so they,
fine. That's
you know,
fine. But you understand why I asked. I wonder if it was just a money thing or if it was a contract thing.
it also makes sense why with the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man they technically rebooted it for their own thing while keeping it similar to what we have. So that way,
Which does make sense as its own universe.
yeah.
Which we kind of, well, I don't know. I think the other thing too was it was unclear if it was going to be a completely new universe or not, or like a different universe. I
Well,
think
I
the
mean,
idea
like you
was
said,
this was supposed to
it's
be,
a parallel universe, but I mean, it
yeah,
still allows them to be MCU related while not,
yes,
you know,
yes. I mean, we've
uh,
already seen Iron Man and
yeah,
Thaddeus.
yeah. We've seen a lot of returning.
You don't want to know. Things are happening. Things are happening. The ghosts are here. I'm not happy.
That just makes it seem like a giant roach just ran across your feet.
No, no, things moved that shouldn't have moved, that did move, and then it moved in a way I wasn't okay with.
Oh, okay. I'll let you deal with your ghosties.
Like I said, it was objects that are moving that I should not be allowed to be moved.
That's
Thankfully, they
hilarious.
stopped moving.
The other thing that got confirmed this week.
I'm dealing with it. Okay. There's things. There's things that I don't want moving anymore. Okay. Thank you.
another thing that got confirmed this week on the DC front, James Gunn has officially confirmed that Clayface is a part of the DCU. So
Clayface the movie or
yes,
is it officially a movie?
yes, it's a movie.
Oh, can we also talk about? I didn't realize that he also voiced Clayface in Harley Quinn.
Yeah, you mentioned that a little while ago. Yeah,
Did I?
he did.
Okay. For whatever reason, I thought he just was the Joker, and it turns out he's both, and it
Yeah.
just threw me off. Also, ironically enough, he also plays the head editor of the Daily Planet, which is even funnier.
Oh, he plays Perry White.
He does. He does, which
That's
is even
hilarious.
funnier to me because he is portraying himself as himself.
That no, that, I mean that's really funny. um,
Um, but anyway, sorry. So it is confirmed that that Clayface is going to be that Clayface movie is going to be part of the DCEU.
yep, yep, and it is
And
going to be
so,
rated R horror.
and is it going to be the origin story of the Clayface we already know, or is it going to be?
We didn't get that far into it. James Gunn is keeping things close to himself. He's just confirmed that. I'll show you the exact post that I saw.
So
Uh,
you got nothing for
D-
me.
DC's James Gunn and Peter Safran have clarified which universe the upcoming Clayface movie will be set,
Oh,
saying
if
it's
Peter says
oh,
so, then
I
it's good.
apologize. Saying it is an origin story for a classic Batman villain that we want to have in our world. It is confirmed to be part of the DCU and will be a rated R body horror.
Oh, so it's going to be like Substance.
I mean, it makes sense for that what like
No, no,
this
no.
kind of character it is.
To be fair, it is the most realistic type of movie to be. Yes,
Yeah.
that is what you expect if you're making a Clayface movie. Yes. But is
So
it
I
pop?
am looking forward to that. I mean, it's going to be it will obviously it'll be kind of like I kind of see it as like the first is like DC in the modern times going to like back to the darker times where like
And it's perfect too because he's going to be playing Clayface before Clayface, um, and he's actually an actor who literally is not like like he did all the stereotypical stuff for acting
mm,
and never was a big role. And that was always his big gripe about the world because he didn't look the part. He didn't, you know what I'm saying? Which is perfect actor
perfect
wise.
for the
No, no,
character that
no.
he's playing.
He's yes, no, and he's actually talked about it in an interview. Um, not so much of the movie, obviously, but
Hmm.
in general, talking about like all the characters he's played. One of them obviously being Clayface.
Oh, that's cool. That's a nice little thing that could happen for him. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully it's good. I believe it was supposed to be coming out in I don't remember if it was next year or 27, but
Doesn't matter. I'm still gonna watch it.
oh yeah, of
But
course. I mean
I'm
leading.
curious of where they're gonna go with it. And what I mean by that is not so much how it fits in the DC universe, but because of Substance being so recent, I'm wondering if they're going to want to change it up a bit and possibly push it back.
Uh, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
no, the
I
reason why I'm
understand
saying
what you
it is
mean.
because I'm only saying that because Substance came out of nowhere
Hmm.
and they might be afraid that they might be thought of as copycats. And it's not, and hear me out on this, I don't think they will, but the idea is Clayface, it literally was like Clay, I don't know if you saw it, but it's very Clayface coded.
Hmm. I don't know.
It's a model who's now over the age, and now she's not being able to get work anymore. She
Hmm.
gets this literally called substance that she uses, and it makes her just as beautiful as she was when she first started as a model. And then she had to keep getting more and more and more of it, and she eventually turns into a blob.
Sounds very familiar, and I can't like I'm not a like literally not placing my like
It's a recent movie. It's a very
yeah.
recent movie.
No, no.
Debbie Moore was in it. From what I have not seen it myself, but I've heard it is a phenomenal movie. But it is pretty much like
Sounds
basically
like Clayface.
no. Like that's the point I'm trying to make is the fact of like I'm wondering if there's going to be a concern about that for the future in James Gunn's eyes. I don't
I doubt it.
mean
I
um,
personally I doubt it, but I mean we'll have to see. I mean we've known James Gunn has had the plan for a little while now, so he seems to
yes,
be
but like I said,
as long as the stars align, he kind of doesn't seem like he wants to adjust like derail where his ideas are going.
but also too, it might also not be written yet either. So that's another thing too.
Yeah, I
So
mean
they
his
might
main
not.
focus, as we've said, is right now is the first we got Superman, Supergirl, and Batman. So anything after
Yes, but
that,
he's not doing Batman, isn't he?
no, no. I'm just saying like that.
No,
Those
that's
are
what I
the
thought.
first
I was
three
gonna say because he's only focused. He himself is only focusing on DCU. Is that what it's called now? DCU.
DCU.
Okay.
What does Batman have to do with not have to do with DCU?
Isn't he part of the other universe, the Elseworld?
Oh, you're talking about Patterson. No. I'm talking about James Gunn has Brave and the Bold.
My apologies. My apologies. That's what threw me off. That's why when you
Yeah.
said Batman, I was thinking of Reeves.
Yeah, no, my apologies. No,
Nope, that makes
so
sense.
so
That makes more sense.
well, James Gunn is writing for
Just
Superman
Superman, Peacemaker.
and Peacemaker, and then
Then he's gonna
he's
be
given
just
this he's given the
watching
other
it, right?
things to
Other people.
Wonder Woman and Brave and the
Brave and
Bold.
the Bold.
Brave and the Bold is still in like early concept. They're kind of figuring out the script for it, and once they
They
have
gotta
the
find their
script,
Batman.
and well, supposedly we're supposed to. He knows who it is. It's just he hasn't announced it.
Well, he's got to fit the silhouette that we've seen, so they got to be careful.
Well, now the silhouette has been. He's like, we're just giving him a silhouette. He actually wanted to put less, but the people that were working with him on Creature Commandos like, no, you got to give a little bit more because you got to get fans excited.
You do, and he did.
Yep.
Um,
Um, but no, but so I mean, going off of that, I did send this to you, but DC their release schedule for movies and shows is 2 live action movies a year, 1 series, and that also and
did you
as
also send me a Marvel one too?
uh I don't remember. That I don't remember.
Because I thought it was 2 animated series.
So DC wants to do 2 live action movies, a live action series a year, as well as an animated film and an animated series.
Okay, okay, never mind. No,
So
it was
that's what
DC.
DC wants to do.
DC is that's what you sent me.
Marvel, I don't know if I sent this to you, but Marvel says that after now that they have X-Men, X-Men is going to be their main focus going forward. They're going to be focusing on X.
Shock.
Yeah.
I am so shocked. In fact, I
um,
am so shocked. I would not even believe what you're saying.
I know, right? It's
It's
a
a big
big
money maker. Whether it is basically like I hate saying it this way, but it's like the equivalent to like Superman
yeah.
in the sense of like it will always be a money maker even when it's junk.
No, absolutely. I mean, they're always popular. Um, but
It's an
going
ever
back to
changing TV
DC
too.
is DC. Uh, they do have a Avengers style plan. Their plan is they're going to have a 6 years worth of buildup, and then it'll accumulate into a Justice League team up movie. So we're going to have 6 years worth of content. Again, that is their plan. We'll see
No,
if
I
it
know,
changes or not.
I know.
But
I get it. I get it. I think I don't like hearing it. Let me. When I say that, I mean I'm probably gonna like it because of how they do it, but I'm not liking how it sounds. Is what I'm getting at.
yeah, I mean, you
Because I
have
don't even think the Avengers was 6 years for the first one. It was
the
4.
when was the first Avengers? 2012.
Yeah, and it was 208 when 2008 when the first movie came out.
So
So it's
yeah,
4 years. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
But also too, this is also a bigger step too. I want to mention they also didn't have a release schedule like they did now. There was a lot less movies, obviously, and
Yeah, I mean, back then it was just like,
well,
it was
because it was
like,
unheard of. It was
yeah,
unheard of to even do what they were doing.
absolutely.
Now it's like the norm, which is scary.
But so going off of that, they have, I don't remember if I mentioned this to you, but outside of the Green Lantern TV show that is the live action TV show that's coming out, that's featuring,
Oh, they're
uh,
doing an animated one, right?
they are doing an animated one,
But
which
the
is
main
called,
focus is with somebody else, right?
yep, it's called My Adventures with Green Lantern, and its main focus is going to be with the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern. She is a newer Green Lantern.
Oh,
Um,
that's not who I thought.
and
I thought it was the other guy, the third guy, the third Earth. No, well, technically the fourth Earthling
there's
as a
a,
Green
there's
Lantern.
there's a quite a bit of Earthlings. So
No, I know, but it's not Guy Gardner. It's obviously not Hal Jordan. It's not John Stewart. It's like something Riley. No, Riley. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I mean,
I
there's Guy Gardner,
I
and
don't count.
then
No, no, no.
um,
Why I'm saying no, no, no. I know it's not him. I'm thinking of.
No, I know which one you're talking about. There's
He
uh
looks so much like Hal Jordan in the suit, but then again, they all look the same. But he looks
um
like the most like Hal Jordan when he wears when he has the ring on. In the sense of he has the mask and everything else, because most of the other guys don't wear a mask.
there is Alan Scott, Guy Gardner, Jenny Hayden, Jessica Cruz. Um,
That's it.
uh, uh, um, Jesus, sorry. Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz.
I can't read.
No, it's just it was going through. It was the list was going through like alternate
Oh,
universes as
oh,
well. So
oh,
that's why it caught me. That's why it
it,
caught me off guard. So we'll leave it at that. Anyways, I mean there are a lot of them, but the main plot of this show is going to be that the show follows Jessica Cruz. Her life gets upended when the green power ring falls from the sky. It chooses Cruz to be her champion. Things get even worse when more debris from the Lanterns' ancient space war arrive, along with their alien foes. Um, Jake Wyatt is executive producing, and Stephanie Gonzaga is co-executive producer. I don't know who either of those are, so I don't know if you know who they are, but
obviously we know who they are. They're people who work for DC. Um,
that is true.
it's
Um,
hey, when I'm not wrong, I'm not wrong. Um, okay. What else?
th-
Any? I thought
yeah,
there was Star Wars stuff too. Come
I have
on.
more DC.
Oh my God, speed it up, child.
Listen, you're actually conversing with me. You know, it's a rarity that you don't just sit here and go, "Yeah, that's nice." So,
Well, keep it up, and I'll get back on my phone.
this one I know you're gonna absolutely love. Uh,
Something stupid.
they have 4 short films in development, and they all will follow.
Jesus.
They will all follow Crypto the dog. Um,
I actually don't hate that.
really,
I don't.
I actually thought you
No.
were gonna think it was really stupid.
Uh, is it animated or live action?
It's gonna be
Oh, hesitation. What is
doesn't
it?
doesn't doesn't specify. The post that I saw says Crypto series of short films is in development, described as seasonally themed shorts, 4 in total, and it is the same dog that appears in Superman. So I don't know if that means it's
Oh, is it gonna?
animated.
Is it gonna be like I Am Groot?
That's kind of what I
Oh,
assumed.
James Gunn has taken everything from Guardians now. To be fair, he did create Guardians. I'm just stating.
I mean, now that you say that, it's like basically like it would make sense to follow what's going on. A
No,
little
that's more
dog
of what
goofing
I'm getting
around.
at. That's why I'm saying. That's why I was like, oh, and seasonal means they're gonna do holiday specials,
Yeah.
which is funny to me. So it's gonna be posted on Max for Christmas, the holiday, all that stuff. All right,
Yep.
all right. You know what? You survived that one. Next.
So this is the bigger one that I found.
This is the bigger
This
one.
kind of is just a summary of everything that got announced in the DC lineup. Um, we have announced that the new Superman trailer is being released soon. It has been fully edited by James Gunn, so hopefully within the next few weeks we're going to get another Superman trailer.
Okay.
Um, I know I sent this to you before, I believe, but there is a Teen Titans live action film in development, and it is being written by the one person who wrote Supergirl.
Oh,
So
dumb question.
yeah,
Is Titans done then?
yeah, Titans is done. Yeah,
Okay, so they're gonna reboot the Teen Titans.
yeah.
No, 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 no. I
All
don't
the
have a problem.
yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I wanted to make sure that I knew that because I don't think I knew that.
I'm pretty sure Titans finished a while ago.
It could have been, to be honest with you. I'm only just recently. Put it this way: I'm all of a sudden seeing advertisements for that and for the Acolyte. So figure that one out.
That's weird.
That's what I'm. You understand where I'm coming from? I got a
Well,
lot of
okay.
confusion going on. Okay. A lot of
I
people.
was I was expecting you to say like I'm living in the past because I'm working my way through slowly. Saying you're only just getting through Smallville, so you're
No,
slowly catching up. So that's what I thought you were.
no, 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 no. I mean, yes, but no. That's not what that for that particular thing. No.
So
So
with
this vid.
with it being from the writer from Supergirl, we might get a hint of like the quality of the show based on how that movie goes, or not the show, how that movie will go will determine possibly how
Teen
this is.
Titans as a movie, though.
I mean, if they build up each character, I mean, it'll.
I'll say it
I
this way.
was
No, no, I'm not against it. I'm not against it. The only time we've ever seen it has been really in shows.
yeah.
They've had very few movies. You know
They've
what I'm
had a
saying?
lot more animated than they've never been in a live action. So
No, 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 that's also true. But what I'm saying is in general. I'm talking about the spectrum in
yeah,
of series slash movies. No, you're right. There's only been one live action, and it was also a series. Um,
but
all right.
no, it's I
Maybe
mean,
we'll get Red
it's one of
X.
those
Maybe we'll
things.
get Red X.
Maybe in the future. But I mean, last I saw, it's the time scale was like 2028. So if your screen froze with your eyes bugging out of your head
It's
after I
because I
think
cracked the.
you cracked your neck, it looked like you got a little possessed on my end. So
Well, there are ghosts here, so be prepared.
um,
It's gonna happen. When the lights
but
shut off, run.
but Teen Titans is aimed from the post I saw a little while ago is aimed for 2028. So still quite a ways away. Don't know what can happen with that.
Well, I think
If
I think
they
just like everything else, anything past 2026, it's not set in stone.
no, absolutely
I
not.
think the order is set in stone in the sense of like how it's gonna come out,
Yeah,
but time wise, I don't think it means anything. No offense. I know we talk about this a million times. I don't believe anything until it's a minimum of a year away, and even
and
then, I
even
question
that's
it.
not even
Oh no,
that's not
but
confirmed.
a year is when I start going, okay, we're here.
Yeah, I mean it's just like these are the things that are
Because I'm
in the
still not
lineup.
convinced Superman and Fantastic Four are coming out when they're gonna say. So we're gonna see what happens.
I mean,
We're
I
almost
mean
there.
we're around the corner for those.
We're 4 months away, and I'm not convinced
Um,
yet.
there are aside for the Adventures of Green Lantern, but there are two other animated shows coming out. Starfire and Superpowers.
So I
Um,
saw Starfire. What's superpowers?
Superpowers is I believe it was more of a kid friendly thing. Um,
I'm bored.
let's
No,
see.
let's not be woke. Um, it's
Superpowers.
fine.
Superpowers was a 5 issues limited series published in ad published in 1984. It was published as a companion to the then current Superpowers action figure line and was intended to be an introduction to the DC characters for fans of the action figures who may not be reading the comics. Uh,
What?
Superpowers was intended to be continuity free and does not fit into the canon of Earth One. Um,
So are they just the characters
yeah,
that we already
I,
know? That's
yeah, I
um
guess it's gonna be.
um mm, I
I mean, on the literally on the picture on the main comic cover is Lex Luthor, Joker, Penguin, and
is it the other guy?
and an I think that's
Well,
an android. I can't tell if that's Brainiac or
to be
what.
fair, that makes sense because those are probably the most marketable you can make for action figures. The
Yeah,
only one that's missing is Batman because Batman is a great action figure. No offense to Superman, but
they both are. I mean, action figure
action figure
Superman,
wise,
you know,
no, action figure wise for kids though, they're the best ones to go with are the ones with gadgets. So Batman,
that's true.
I'm not arguing that Superman doesn't do well on the market. I'm stating from a
Gadgets, yeah,
merchandising point of view, you can sell gadgets and the character separately and make a lot of money.
yep.
That's what I meant by Superman not doing as well. So I do apologize. But
No, I get it. I get it.
notice all the ones they focused on though are all ones with multiple parts.
Yep. Uh, Joker's the only one that's kind of iffy. He's got like
Well, you got you think of it this way in the sense of
but he's got the
the
flower
the
and the
flower, the playing cards, and then potentially teeth.
Oh yeah, wasn't even thinking that. I was
Oh,
thinking of
or
his.
a present.
I was thinking of his the fake bang gun. But I'm like,
No,
I
that's
don't
another
know.
one too.
I don't know if you want to market that to kids nowadays.
Well, that's more of why I'm saying like the present,
The present and the teeth make a lot more sense for him.
in the playing cards, because even though they're bladed, they're not going to be bladed for the kids.
Obviously. um, we got a couple more things. It is Matt Reeves of Batman is officially not being merged with the DCU because that
That I
was
knew.
people were
No,
assuming because
I know, but I'm
there was
just
a lot
saying
of
like
setbacks, so people were assuming that it might be
no, that's
merging.
fair. I'm just
And people
stating
do
like
want to
the.
see Patterson with the Superman. So
I mean, he could still. Um, Meaning like when they get multiverse is a weird place. Let's just. I'm gonna say that and leave it there,
yeah.
because you know they're gonna do their own multiverse.
Oh, eventually down the road, but it's not anytime soon.
Yeah, it's not in the 6 year plan, but it's in the 12 year plan.
um,
You hate me because I'm right.
Supergirl is halfway through filming, so we're getting progress on that. Uh, After Peacemaker, James Gunn next project, he did not announce what it is, but he confirmed it is not going to be Superman 2. So it is another layer into the first. I'm assuming going to be another layer into the first phase 1 plan of his ideas.
Would it be year one though? It would be year two at that point.
Sorry, phase 1.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yes.
Yeah,
No, that
wrong
makes more sense.
wordage. Phase
Because
1.
no, it just threw me off because I'm like, I think we're
We're
already.
technically we're past year 1.
Well, no, because Creature Commandos started it.
That's what I mean. That's why I said we're past year 1. Year 1 would be Creature Commandos in 2024. 2025 is Superman.
No. You get the full 12 months. You get the full 12 months. I'm giving him till December.
Oh, okay. You're gonna give him. Okay, that's fine.
Superman is year one. I'm sorry. I say what I say.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine.
Because that'd be so weird to be year one only Creature Commandos. No, year one is going to be the full 12,
Creature
12 months.
Commandos was a success, so I don't see that as weird.
No, but I mean only having one thing for the entire year is the point I'm making. Year one is the full 12 months.
Eh, whatever.
I've decided. And also, didn't
What?
they go into January also?
It went in like 2 weeks. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So you know what? Yeah. We're in 2025. It doesn't count until it's done, and it was done in January.
Whatever you say. No
Year
worries.
one. Year
Doesn't make
one
a
is
difference to me.
no,
I
it
can.
doesn't.
It's phase 1 anyways, so I don't care.
It is all phase one.
um, and the last thing that I mentioned to you, they had a Authority and Booster Gold TV show in development.
Is it true who's going to be playing Booster Gold, or is that just rumors?
Most likely rumors. It's still a long ways out, so there's no hints of what's going on yet. Who was your rumors again?
No, I can't tell you.
Anyways,
No. It's actually he was in What If, and he was in the Internals. It was the Indian um
oh
actor.
yeah, that's like a fan hope. Yeah, because
Oh, so
he could
okay.
fit he could fit the
I
personality.
fell for it. I thought it was
There
real.
was another I don't remember who it is at this point, but there was another one that was a fan casting that like would fit the personality for him perfectly. Like I said, at this point, I don't remember. It was a while ago. But those two shows,
And nothing about Constantine.
we're having issues with he's having issues finalizing the script, so it's getting delayed a little bit longer. Once they get the script, they're gonna find a director, and then they're gonna move forward.
With
But
what?
the Authority and Booster Gold.
Okay, no, that's fine. I asked about Constantine. That's why I
I know, and I was ignoring you because you were cutting me off.
that's why I asked what you were talking about. So I made sure it wasn't answering my question, and it had to do with the others.
I don't know anything about Constantine. Nothing has been announced for Constantine yet. Um,
As much as I would like it, I don't think Keanu Reeves can do it. And it's not because I don't think he'd do a good job again. I think it's more the fact of you're gonna want a blonde, drunk Irishman.
I think I remember hearing things about Keanu Reeves possibly coming back for it, but
Yes, but
I
like,
understand you wanting to be more comic accurate.
well, I'm also thinking too, like longevity. Constantine. is a guy you want.
Well, don't forget too. Again, this universe isn't brand new. It's an established universe. So these
Don't
characters are
tell
all.
me.
I am telling you, all these characters in here are going to be old unless they are like introducing a young Constantine.
We're introducing a goddamn young Constantine. First off, we had a Constantine that was millions and millions and billions of years old, and he
Yeah,
looked the same.
I know.
Well, depending on where you
Depends on the
look,
universe.
it depends on where you see.
I personally liked the Constantine from the from the CW shows. I wouldn't be opposed if they do bring him in. I know you haven't seen it, but
It will. I still got like 7 more senior seasons, and then I'll be
oh,
there.
7. Forget about the 7. You're decades away from that. So
Actually, no, that's not true. It's 6.5.
you
It's
don't
less
you
than a.
don't even know what part of the CW shows he got introduced in. So for all you know, you're saying 6.5. It could be farther down.
No, it's 6.5, and then I start the Arrowverse. That was
I
how
hate you.
stupid you are.
Hate
You were
you
so
so much.
stupid. You were so stupid. You thought it spanned.
So I am still correct with the decades away.
You are potentially correct. It might be just a decade away.
Oh God. I don't remember when Constantine got introduced. I think he got introduced
I've
in
seen him. I've seen.
um
When I say this, I know I've at least seen him.
yeah, I
Um,
mean obviously you've seen clippets and whatnot, but
no,
I think he got
definitely.
introduced in Legends of Tomorrow.
That's. I think you are absolutely correct because I think that's where I saw him.
Yeah. I know he stuck around there once he was introduced, but I don't remember what because
He might have. He might have been introduced to, like one of the Infinite Earths, one of like the crossover ones.
no, no,
No,
that was the Infinite Earths was the like
I don't mean
ending.
Infinite Earths. I mean just the crossovers is what I should say.
Oh yeah, no, he got introduced I later down the road. I think it
Okay.
was
Any more
I think it
DC
was
stuff?
that. Nope, for DC that's it.
Are you done with Marvel as well?
I mentioned to you. Oh, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Their plan is to release a new season every single year. So if things go according to plan, they will release season 2 in February of 2026, and they would like to keep that schedule going forward. February of the next year.
But they're gonna change it up. It's gonna be 3-2-2-3.
What?
The episodes will be 3-2-2-3. The episode releases will be three for the premiere, then two, and then the season finale will be three.
Anyways, I showed you that
You hate me because I.
the actress from Jessica Jones was at in New York City for Daredevil.
No, we
To
don't know that was the reason.
that's not the reason. She happens to be in New York City when Daredevil season 2 begins filming next week. So, potentially
No,
she's
no, no.
getting
I agree with you,
reintroduced.
but I wanted to make it very clear it was not
Yes.
confirmed. That's why I said
Um
what I said. I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I was being legitimate.
I don't know if you saw this, but I was very excited about this. Uh the guy who played Stu from Scream has been cast in Daredevil season 2.
As who?
They did not give his character. They just said he was cast.
Oh, by the way, you're gonna. Mm, I'm gonna give something away because I have to. Um, you may see a character that you might need some clarification on in potentially the first 2 episodes next week. That appears in season 3 of Daredevil.
Oh. Okay.
Um,
So
it, it they were confirmed in the
was was one of them Bullseye?
was one of them a character that has been introduced so far? Maybe. I will not confirm nor deny, but it is Bullseye. Um,
Yeah. I was seeing everything. I was like, I remember saying that. I thought someone looked like Bullseye, and you were telling me no, and now it was
oh no
like
no
full
no
on confirmed.
no! I knew it was, but I thought we weren't gonna have to deal with this issue
Right
because you were
away.
well because I thought we were gonna be ahead of schedule. But anyway, um, so I just wanted to let you know that piece. So that is the only spoiler you get. You get no other confirmation of what happens, but
I'll
you.
No, I just want you to know, as soon as I saw that we got 2-episode premiere instead of the 1-episode premiere, I'm like, things aren't going to go according to plan for Scott. I'm going to get something spoiled, and he's gonna be pissed.
No, I'm not pissed. That's why I'm telling you. I'm
Yeah.
like, you just need to know. You don't. I don't think you're gonna need to know everything for those 2 episodes because I don't think they're gonna dive in to him too much.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be right away. I mean, they're
No,
gonna,
what I'm saying is,
yeah.
what my fear is they show him and he's like, "You again," and you'll be like, "You again," and I'll be like, "Yeah."
No, I mean, obviously, episode 1's going to be the, like you said, universe builder, going to be
Well, yeah,
like
but I
what's been
also
going
feel
on.
because, but you also the reason why I was saying that is because he's part of the universe and he's already been
Yep.
introduced into the
Yep.
series. I wanted to make sure that you knew that there was the potential of him being there, and
Yeah.
they're not going to go into details of what happened with him necessarily.
Absolutely. No, I
But
expect that.
I'm expecting him to have the cameo in
I'm expecting to be thrown off not knowing what happened in season 3. I'm going into it being prepared.
But
I
I'm
don't
also
expect too
thinking
much going on,
I
but
also don't think season 1, 2, and 3 are going to play a huge role in this season. Why
it's
I
going to
say
be
that
more like
the gap
giving like,
the gap between
yeah,
season 3
yeah.
and that's more of what I'm thinking
And it's
personally.
going to be just like callbacks to for like previous fans, like not anything major, but something like, oh, remember when this happened, kind of thing. But
Yeah,
like,
you remember when White Tiger kicked me in the nuts? I remember.
and I'm gonna be like, oh well, here we go, spoiler. um, but anyways,
Yes.
that's it for Marvel. Moving on to Star Wars, I talked to you a little bit about this already. We have the release schedule for Andor. Um, I am personally
Yeah.
very disappointed in how this is playing. Like, I'm excited, but yet at the
We
same
talked
time
about this.
disappointed. They
I
are
am
releasing 3 episodes every week for 4 weeks. Um,
they better not be short episodes, but at the same
yeah,
time, that means it's 3 hours of content for 4 weeks.
I'm like very excited because I'm excited about having so much Star Wars. I'm very disappointed because it's going to be over in 4 weeks.
But
Like
I get it. I get it because of how they described how the season was going to be.
every
Not the
every
release,
3
not the release, but
every 3 episodes is 1 year in this
which
season.
makes sense why they're pushing it so all three come out at once. I'm
Yeah,
not still thrilled about it, but I at least understand it.
I understand it. I'm upset about. I'm just upset that it's such it's going to be a short series. It's basically just a limited series. I mean, like at that point, just label it a limited series. Make it 4 episodes, an hour and a half of or however long it's going to be.
3 hours.
Hopefully, but well, no, I
No, no,
wouldn't
no.
say
It's
3 hours. I would say probably 45 minutes for each episode, so an hour and a half an episode. 2 hours and 20 minutes each episode.
we would get there eventually, kids. We'd get there
It
eventually.
would actually probably be closer to 2 hours because it's going to be 10 minutes worth of credits per episode plus the introduction. So overall, we lose about 10 minutes worth of actual show.
Well, on paper would still be the same because you would still have the same amount of credits.
Potentially. Well, yeah. It'll be a little, it would,
you wouldn't have the intro. You would just have the one intro, but the credits would still be the exact same.
well, so no, it would be shorter because, no, because at the end of each episode, you're getting the credits every time. If you combine it into one big episode, you're getting the credits once. You understand what I mean?
I understand what you mean, but a lot of it's gonna so depending on the episode, it's gonna be anyway. We're arguing over stupid stuff. Let's move on.
Yeah, but anyways,
I'm right, you're wrong. Move on.
either way, we're upset. We
Yeah,
we
not
are
upset.
upset. We're excited. We're upset. I hope.
I've already called people to like get
Why
this.
do you have a hammer in your hand? Put the hammer down. Stop scratching your back. I know you're afraid of the ghosts, but the hammer is not going to help the ghosts. All right.
The weird part was it was the hammer that was moving. It was over there earlier.
I don't like that.
That's the scariest part of the whole thing. Didn't want this to be a Halloween episode, but here we are.
Oh boy, I can't wait. Um, the last thing I wanted to say, Star Wars related, we have a full list of everything in development for Star Wars. Some things are closer than others, so I know that you aren't going to
Well,
be. too
Didn't they
crazy.
yeah, but they're not titled, are they?
Not all of them are titled, correct?
I was gonna say, I thought we already knew. We knew for the most part. It was just there was no titles. Like we knew nothing about them.
There is uh we have a total we have Mandalorian and Grogu, the New Jedi Order, Dawn of the Jedi, Lando. There is
Lando.
supposedly that movie's been like on and off, so it's questionable
Well,
whether
because it's
it's
supposed to be Danny Glover who's gonna be him.
yeah. Um,
I'm
we
I'm
have
I'm
we have we have
I'm skeptical.
Rogue Squadron.
That I
Um,
did know. That was a
but
recent.
that one was also confirmed to be canceled or rumored to be canceled, but now it's been confirmed that it's back on.
Mike's
So
basically telling us stuff that we don't have confirmation for, if anything. At least Star Wars wise.
Star Wars is iffy because they keep going through changes. But now there are a couple other things. There is one Star Wars trilogy being excuse me being written by Simon Kinbergs. Um, it's supposed to be introduce new characters and be an original trilogy or original story. Um, and it's going to be set in the future, and by future, past Ray and whatever, like
Oh, so it's
much
like the new sequel.
supposedly, yeah.
Ah,
We have Dave Filoni's Star Wars, which is going to be kind of taking in the stories of Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Grogu, and Ahsoka, and like
basically the successful stuff. I hate I hate being a
not
jerk.
all of them have been really successful.
The universe has though. That universe has.
Even still, it hasn't been as successful as you think it has been. Unfortunately,
Well,
a
it's
lot
been
of.
successful to me.
I
But
mean,
that's
yes, I've loved it. Unfortunately, everyone has been.
Mike. Have I ever been everyone? Do I look like everyone? I've never been
You
everyone.
you definitely are not everybody.
There you go.
I don't have to worry about that.
I
That's
know.
that's why we can get along a little bit with the Star Wars stuff. We
I'm also
have
a late bloomer when it comes to Star Wars, but continue.
that is true. I can never say his name. Uh, the guy who uh directed
Shao
the
Kahn.
last two Thor movies.
Oh, yes.
He has been rumored to be getting a Star Wars movie. It was rumored to be canceled, but Kathleen Kennedy, who is in charge of Lucasfilm, has confirmed that she is still expecting a movie to come out by him. So
I mean, he's a good director. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything against him. I don't. I mean, I've also not seen him do Star Wars, so it's like
I've been a fan of him. I've been seeing so much hate for him, especially after the last Thor movie. I know I've said this to you before, but like all of a sudden everybody turned on him after the last Thor movie, and I'm like, you guys praised him in Thor 3, and now all of a sudden he's like the worst thing ever.
And to be fair, I mean, no offense, that was his greatest movie, and I
Yeah.
will never question that whatsoever. I will agree with everyone on that, but that doesn't mean all the other movies he's done is trash. Was 4 better than 3? Obviously not.
Hmm.
But was it as bad as everyone was making it seem? I
I don't think
disagree.
so.
I
Yeah.
think they were very much hoping that it was going to be at the same standards as 3, and no offense, I kind of figured it couldn't be.
I thought it was going to be, and after what I saw, I understood why it wasn't.
Also,
Um,
too, this was the first. It was the. I mean, I'm going to go on a tangent again. I'm sorry, but that was also the first movie of Thor getting back into being Thor, like
yep.
because he also got super buff,
Yeah.
because he was overcompensating for the fat Thor.
That's very true. Um, two more movies for Star Wars. We have Levy coming out with a trilogy. Supposedly, it's going to be starring Ryan Gosling. It potentially might bring back some sequel trilogy characters, and it is supposed to be taking place between about 5 years after Episode 9. So that'll be interesting. And
I
then,
don't know how
uh,
I feel.
finally, Ryan Johnson is also supposed to be getting officially supposed to be getting a trilogy. Um, but that will not be. Those will not be his main focus until he finishes his contract with the Knives Out movies. Um,
Those are good movies.
they have been good movies, but
Such.
I'm interested because obviously
I think how many
Ryan
movies did
Johnson is kind of credited for Star Wars as like ruining the sequel trilogy because he kind of, if I remember correctly, he made Episode 8, so he kind of messed up what happened in fans' eyes about like what happened from 7 to 8.
So what I'm hearing is people will hate his trilogy. Move on.
Most likely, yeah. So that's like I'm interested to see how it'll go.
Is that it?
And yes, that
All
is
right.
it.
Let's move on to Luke Cage. Um,
he is. I told you I had a lot to go over. There was a lot that happened this week.
I know, but you're also a slow talker. Anyway.
Things would go faster if someone didn't interrupt me trying to make
Okay,
funny comments.
No. If you would have briefed me on this stuff, I would have been prepared and I would have sat here quietly.
Did someone get distracted by a hammer flying through his floors?
There's also a random pipe that's hanging from the basement as well. Would you like a picture of that? Because it's not connected to anything, and yet it's just floating. I don't have an answer. Okay? And you know what? I'm gonna send you this picture because you're not gonna believe it because I'm staring right at it.
Anyways, Luke Cage season 2. What questions do you have for me?
I'm sending you the zoom in and the non-zoomed in one.
I-
Anyway,
I'm
the
looking
big thing
forward
was,
to it.
overall, what was your thought on this season?
Overall, it went back and forth for me. Did the picture not send? Did it not like the did it not does it not want me to see your floating pipe?
It did not want you to see it for a minute. I had to find it. So I'll say this: at the very least, it's in the sending stage. It wasn't even allowing me to upload it. So
Your ghosts are really going after you.
they're not happy with me.
Oh, I got the pictures. Let's see. Let's take a look at this floating pipe. There's literally a pipe floating in here. Why is there a coat hanger randomly hanging on your pipe?
That was not the ghost. That was actually already there. But the pipe came out of nowhere. I think you focused on the wrong thing. Because what you said. You said the floating pipe, and then you go, but wait a minute, why is there a hanger? Because the pipe itself isn't enough. A floating pipe isn't enough. A floating pipe, a random floating pipe is too boring for you. But a hanger randomly is there, and it just bothers you to no end. That's your problem. I'm sorry, my ghosts aren't creative enough for you. All right.
It adds two more questions. First, why is there a random pipe hanging in your basement? Then it goes on to it. Why is there a random coat hanger next to the floating pipe?
To be fair, the second question is valid. I'm just letting you know that it made it feel like you didn't care about the pipe, and that's what bothered me. And I think the part that bothers me the most was you literally go, "Oh, I see the pipe. Why is there a hanger?" And you moved more. It was more energy towards the hanger than the pipe.
Because I was expecting the pipe.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting the hanger.
I was expecting a floating pipe. Who's expecting a floating pipe? Mike, huh? Because it wasn't me.
Oh God.
So Luke Cage, you were back and forth on it.
Oh God.
So I
It
want
was-
you, no. Do me a favor. Talk about the season as a whole. I just got to switch the laundry.
Okay. Excuse me. Season as a whole, it kind of just for me, it was like a lot of up and downs. The whole Luke Cage kind of like getting overconfident was a little bit of a turnoff for me because he was just so confident in himself that he felt like he can do anything. And whereas like season 1, he was freshly out of prison, didn't want to do anything wrong. In this one, he felt like he was above the law. So him thinking that just felt like he could do anything, and it was like, oh, this is such a drastic contrast from season one. Summarize what I just said. Um, One of the things that kind of like turned me off from the season was Luke Cage was overconfident in himself in this season, whereas in season one, obviously he was freshly out of prison. Uh,
which is funny because he's still freshly out of prison.
True. Season two, I felt like got the feeling like he felt like he was above the law and felt like he could get away with anything because he's Luke Cage.
Well,
And um it like it like went like that throughout most of the season because he was like, "Oh, I don't need you guys. I can take care of this myself." And the cops are like, "Listen, let us do our job." And he's like, "No, I got this. It's fine." And just didn't care.
I think part of your issue with that was they heavily focused him being with the law in season one. And to be fair, in the comics, he's very well. What I mean by that is he very much worked with them better. I'll say it that way. In season one, realistically, in the comics, he was not a fan of the police ever.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I
in
mean,
fact,
even still, like going off of that, it's like in this season, it was like, okay, work with us. Let us we can help. You know, tell us what you know, and we can go. We can. I will help you work with us. And he was like, "No, it's fine. I can do it myself."
yeah, but I think
Eh,
again the for
Gross. Bless you. Um.
no, but I think the big thing for that is this Luke Cage is a hero of the streets,
Yep.
and
I
police.
understand the whole concept of like
So the
being
police,
separate from the police because
and I think there were certain things that needed to be done without the police, and I don't think they did it well. I'll say it that way, but they definitely did it closer to the comics, in my opinion. I mean, for goodness sakes, he literally was a hero for hire, which is his whole gimmick.
yeah. Um.
But
I
I'm
mean, like
sorry,
I
Bushmaster. How did you feel about Bushmaster?
I really liked him. I liked
He
how he was
he was my favorite
like
villain.
I liked how he was like Luke Cage but still different.
So in the comics, so you know,
Mm.
Bushmaster actually got the same chemical bath that Luke Cage got,
Oh,
and
okay.
so he had the exact same powers
I
as Luke
mean,
Cage.
I had assumed that he did until we saw that he didn't. So
No, no, no. I know they did it differently, which I did not have a problem with because they changed it enough where it works. But they also added that
they
to make
changed
it
it so
so
that way we could tell that he was still different while still being the same or
yes, yeah.
similar.
Well, similar, but also similar enough, but different enough. Also, it
Yeah,
was one of those weird things that they wanted to make sure of, which they did a good job.
I did.
Um,
I did think they did a good job.
I'm sorry, but Mariah is shined this season.
I hated her.
But that's why she shined.
Oh my god, every move she made, it made me hate her more. And then at the end when she basically just like I mean, I understand
Spoilers. She dies.
um the end when she basically, told her daughter that she didn't never cared about her because, she's a rape baby. I understand it, but it made me hate her more because it's
It
like
no, I 100% agree with you, and that's why I loved her character because she was legitimately a character you hated. You even hate her in the beginning when she's making out with shades because it's disgusting.
yeah, yeah, yes. Uh
I the best was when everyone around them was reacting the way I was, which was
Yep. Yeah, no, I 100%. Yep. No, it was very much I said this for where it was a few times where it's the characters that you love to hate them because they're so good at it, and she is very much that character.
yeah. For
And
me, it's there's one in every season. I mean, for every series, and I mean, with me, it's well, I'll say this. Um, for Daredevil, it's Wilson Fisk.
mhm.
We will never feel bad for him.
Yep.
What I mean by that is we will there will be points where we will be hitting our heartstrings, but it
Yep.
will never be enough to what we've already seen him do.
Mhm.
Hawthorne is for Jessica Jones.
Yep.
For Luke Cage, it's Mariah. For Punisher, it is Russo, hands
Yep.
down.
Yep.
And then for Iron Fist, it was what's his name, the father.
The father.
Ward's Ward's
Oh,
dad.
yeah, Harold.
Harold, thank you. I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah. Um,
Um, yeah. So for me, like that, those were like the big things. Um, and uh, there, not to say that there aren't other good bad guys in them obviously, but I think they had one in each series that was literally like the spawn of the devil, where no matter what happens to them, you like if it was any other character you would have felt horrible for, but it
yeah.
was because of them you cared so little.
And I have to say, I think for the top two is Mariah and Russo. Uh, the they were both the characters that
Yes,
you
I
you
hesitated for a minute, but yes.
they were the definition of you hated them no matter what they did. They were the ones that you loved to hate because they played the villain so well.
Oh, Mariah was so good. Even
Um,
when she was a kid, we hated her. Oh, it was so good. When she messed with Johnny, oh,
I was I I was confused obviously at the beginning until they explained it, like the past that they had, which was the point, but that made it even more so because it's like, oh, Bushmaster is the bad guy, but he's not really because
well, I
he's been through hell.
I think part of that is you wouldn't understand that because you didn't. I don't think you know like the Harlem stuff. A lot of stuff was built by also Jamaicans as well, and then they were kind
Oh
of
no,
pushed
I
to the
mean,
side.
I yeah, no, I understand that.
So like, well, no, the reason why I say that is because um, like obviously you know now, but I meant like, and I only knew it because I watched it before. I didn't know
Mm.
it during it the first time. I'll say that with honesty. Um, but I think in Harlem, like a lot of things were built by Jamaicans, and then they were kind of like just like everyone else. You kind of cast it out.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, they said that, like they said it right in the episode. You know, it was
and they
like
did.
we were used to build this, and then we got pushed out until we finally said that's enough, and we took our own little area, and that's been
But I
ours
do
ever
like that
since.
we also got Pistol Pete and um,
Mama Mabel.
Mama Mabel. Oh, I loved seeing them so much. And when Mariah breaks mentally, and we
Yeah,
see them both again, and the way she reacts when Pistol Pete shows up, I was like, "This is incredible."
yeah.
Was Cornell there? No.
No, Cornell didn't show
Okay.
up. No, the only
I
time we saw Cornell was when her daughter visited him at the grave. Um,
yes.
Otherwise, we never his character never came back.
Okay. Because we didn't even. Oh no, we did see him as a kid once.
Yeah,
No, no, no. I know, I know, no. I just wanted to say. I wondered if we. I couldn't remember if we saw him in Jamaica, but we did. Um, that was such a good one. And then how he gets it, how Johnny gets his powers was awesome, because you got the Jamaican influence with the voodoo and everything else, um,
yep.
which was incredible.
Um, the rift between um Luke and uh what's her
Bushmaster.
name? Huh?
Oh, who? Mariah,
Eh, No,
Misty Knight.
his girlfriend,
Oh, Claire.
Claire. Uh, that one was a little iffy for me. I obviously it was going along the lines of like I got a bad taste in my mouth because of the overconfidence that he had, that he felt like he could do things. So like again, it to me it felt like a character change from season one and even the Defenders to this, that it just came out of nowhere for me. So
Okay.
what I wasn't too crazy for it. Um, Obviously, with Luke Cage having anger issues because of one, his father had anger issues, so he would have it, and then two,
Shocker.
getting his powers, we clearly see that the powers result in anger issues as well. So,
Well, I think also too, it was like I think it's more of the genetics of his father, in the fact that he puts a lot of pressure on himself, but also the people of Harlem put a lot of pressure on him.
yep,
And we see that heavily in this season.
mm-hmm,
Like, what are you gonna do?
yep,
You better fix these problems.
yeah, yeah.
And also, love Sugar. Mm,
Oh yeah, I loved him. I loved a
uh,
lot of those side characters. Like, I loved Sugar. I
oh, can
loved.
we talk about breaking of the bond for the guy who finally went legit, the gunslinger who went legit, the black
Remind
guy
me.
who, the arms dealer. He was always an arms dealer, and then this
Oh
season,
yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
he breaks the bong, and he's like, "Are you gonna pay that?" He goes, "Nah, man."
No, he said put it on my tab or something
Oh,
like
that's right.
that. He's like credit me or something. um,
How did you feel about Danny Rand being there?
I'll be honest. I liked him in that episode.
My
I
biggest my biggest complaint about it was that he was only there for the one episode.
Yeah, I would have liked to actually see more of him. I actually liked him in the setting. He wasn't a crybaby. He wasn't. He was actually like as he should have been, a monk, being the calm mind in the situation. Um,
You're
if they had this character throughout the Defenders
Well, he's
and
going to be
his
integrated
show,
in season 2.
I can imagine. Like
Very
if
disappointing.
he was like this in his show, like it would be great. Uh,
I am very curious because there's something that happens in season 2 character-wise that I don't understand how it fits now because I forgot he was in Luke Cage.
oh, okay,
So I forget. So I'll tell you this: there's something that happens that changes his character, in the sense of from what you see in Luke Cage. I,
okay. So he goes
uh,
back to being a crybaby.
well, that shouldn't be a shock to you, but yes. Um,
um,
but something happens that I don't know what it is because I thought it had to do with the events of the Defenders, which made him be a crybaby again. But clearly that's not the case because
I mean, like I said, like I was saying, I loved the bromance that they had.
oh no,
I
it
I, I
is
thought it I
that
thought it
is
was great.
that is comic book accuracy at its best,
Oh,
honestly.
good.
No, no,
Okay, that's good.
it was 100% like Luke Cage and Iron Fist. It's literally Power Man, and the joke that he made when they were talking about, oh my gosh, Power Man and the Immortal Iron Fist, I could be selling like crazy because that comic book series did well.
Oh, okay.
Um, it was so yes, yes, and yes.
I liked Luke Cage's father. I liked the story that they did with that, and that I mean,
They made
Claire
him
was like, you have to make peace with your dad in order to make peace with yourself, and the
well, they made him not be the jerk that we thought he was in season 1.
yeah, yeah,
And to be fair, he wasn't denying he wasn't that jerk. He's saying he's just not that guy anymore,
yeah.
which is a completely different context than what we were expecting. I wasn't expecting it.
Absolutely. I mean, it was him making peace with himself, and thus
He was,
being able to make
which
peace
is
with
why
his
he went to
son.
Harlem to begin with because he
Yep,
wanted to touch base back with his son because he know he screwed up.
yep. And I mean, I thought it was great. I thought like obviously his father played a pretty
The
big role throughout the season in general.
the interaction between him and Mariah was hilarious though.
I love that he's just like a ladies man. It's just like, um,
Now I know where you get your swag from. And I'm just like, I crack up every time because I think he's closer to Mariah's closer to his dad's age than him.
I mean, I kind of just I assumed Mariah was actually older.
No,
I
no, no,
didn't think she was
no,
that old
no.
because
But what I mean by that, I think she's the point I'm making is I
I
think she's
understand.
closer. I'm not saying she is. I'm saying
Yeah.
she's closer to his age, which is why it's funny, because of her
In
being with Shades, who is I think supposed to be younger than all of them.
in this show though, at least for me, it felt like she was actually older. She seemed older in this season than she did in season 1.
But
And
what's
I think
weird
that was
though is
partially because she was with
Shades.
Cottonmouth.
No,
I was
she's
going
with
to say.
Shades.
No, season 1.
Oh yes.
S-
That's
Uh
fair. Because she was surrounding herself
obviously,
with younger people this time.
yes. So in season 2, obviously being with a different crowd, but like it looked on her, like on her face, she actually looked older. Um
So I think one of the reasons why he was pissed that the series ended this way was because we were supposed to see Luke Cage's. I think what was supposed to happen, which is funny when you think about it, is Luke Cage was supposed to be then involved with the Kingpin
oh.
because crime boss to crime boss, because even though he's not a crime boss and he really isn't technically, um, the idea is he made the wall up in Harlem and nobody puts a wall up. No vigilante is allowed to in in Wilson Fisk's New York.
Mhm. I
That was supposed to be the build up.
I can see that. Um I'll be honest, like the way that the show ended, I wasn't too crazy about it because to me, it was like he became which was the point, because like he said, I want to be the
That was
bridge
also
between the
that was
crime
also
and the cops.
Mariah's plan too, because she wanted to corrupt the only man who is
Yep.
supposedly uncorruptible.
He became what he was trying to stop. I wasn't too crazy about that.
But he, you
I
know
think
what? But
it
you agree,
solidified it.
you agree why he had to though.
Yes.
Okay,
But here's the thing. I think it solidified it for me when he turned Claire away at the end.
that I will agree with. That's when
If
he.
if he didn't do that, I don't think I would have had as big of an issue with it. But because he turned her away, he became what he was trying to destroy.
Realistically, Netflix couldn't afford her to be in another episode. Um,
Probably. She was picking up steam at that point. That's for sure.
I don't know if she was yet. I don't think she was in anything yet.
Well, I mean, you're showing up. She was becoming more of a major player in
Oh,
in the.
oh, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, she had to be in. She has to be in Iron Fist, Luke Cage. I mean, she had to be in Iron Fist also, along with Daredevil, and she's gonna have to be in Jessica Jones. And who knows? The only one she hasn't been in at all is Punisher. But could she be in the second one? I don't remember, to be honest with you. And that's the god honest truth.
I
But
actually forgot that she wasn't in the season one. So.
it was the only one show. Technically, the Defender show that she was not a part of. Anyway, um, so I'm curious to see where we might get Power Man.
Mm.
We are getting Wonder Man at the end of this year, which will be fun.
Yes, we are. And now
Um,
tell me, how do they relate? I assumed they did because you brought that up. So.
nope, I just said it because they go together name wise. That's it.
Okay.
Um, but no, because it's the gimmick thing. Because realistically, Luke Cage isn't Luke Cage. He's Power Man.
Yep. We've talked about that.
But it doesn't matter because he's no more as Luke Cage than anything else.
Yep.
I'm curious to see if they bring him back or if they decide to retcon him and make him different now that because it's going to get awkward. We know that.
Mhm.
Um, but we'll see what happens. Because
Yep.
it's different because Luke Cage is Luke Cage. Iron Fist can be anybody.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
We had talked about that. So
so like
we'll
that's why
see.
I'm more on that fence. But let's move on to Harley Quinn.
I but I
Oh
apologize
yeah,
before you move on. I just want to say that I'm probably ranking this at the moment. It'll be
I was gonna say if you say it's below Iron Fist, you are getting the floating pipe and the hammer.
what the hanger isn't good enough.
No, because you expect it now. It's not coming.
It is probably my rankings at the moment is probably it's still going to be Daredevil 1, Jessica, Punisher, those three.
No, that's fair. You're not gonna hear me disagree.
Oh, wait. No, sorry. Daredevil 2, Jessica 1, Jessica 1, Punisher 1. Daredevil 1. Um
No, and Mike never remembers that I said the series instead of the individual seasons.
No, I know. But I'm going an extra step and actually ranking it by the season.
Oh, that's gonna be tough because Mike's gonna do that too, and he's gonna piss me off about it.
I think it's going to be Luke Cage season 1, and then Defenders,
Okay,
Jessica Jessica 2.
Jessica 2's that low. Oh no, that makes sense. Never mind. No, no, that
Yep,
makes sense.
Luke Cage 2, and then Iron Fist 1. I think that's kind of the order I'm at the moment.
I think that's fair. I think I would have to agree with you. Um, but I want to make it clear that like the delineation between Jessica Jones 2 and Iron Fist, there's a big gap in my opinion.
Yeah,
Jessica
yeah,
Jones 2
yeah.
is closer to Defenders than she is to Iron
Yes,
Fist.
yes, yes.
That's more of what I want to make clear because like I'm also curious of what you think of season 2 because I remember it one way and I could be wrong.
I mean,
Um,
you've already said many times that
it's awful.
as you're rewatching this, you're getting confused because you're mixing things up. So
Yeah, no, it's true.
we'll
Um,
see how it actually plays out going through it a second time. For all we know, you might actually like it more.
no, I won't. I know the fighting will be on point. I remember that.
Okay.
But even the fighting gets a little wonky too
Oh,
in
really?
season 2. Yeah,
Okay.
if I remember correctly, it gets a little wonky. I will say this: it doesn't get wonky till the end, so we still get like overall good fights,
Hmm.
but it gets a little wonky at I think at the very end.
Okay.
Um,
Actually, speaking of wonkiness, I don't remember what it when it was at this point. I just remember at one point there was one scene that there was horrendous CGI. And I looked at it and I was like, this is really bad.
wait, was it in Luke Cage?
In Luke Cage. I don't remember when it was. I
Oh no, I know exactly what it was. No, it was when Mama Mabel burnt down the Jamaican home. That was when it was the worst CGI possible.
Oh, was it? Okay. I thought it might have been that, but I didn't want to say it just in case.
Because it was they what was weird was they literally burned the building. So like that scene was legitimate. And then what they did was they green screened the two actors in front of it. And it was like blatantly but like what threw me off was like they didn't CGI it until after the flames started. So like it was a real scene where Johnny climbs out of the building, and
Mm.
then once the flames start and everything else, like the real flames, when it's like completely engulfed,
Yeah.
she's Mama Mabel standing in front of him, being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, child. I guess you're gonna be an orphan." And the flames are behind her, and it's doing nothing to her. Because if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, that's the scene.
Now speaking of the fire too, I think the other one that was bad, which is understandable, was when they lit Bushmaster's uncle on fire.
Yes, but I took that with a grain of salt because that's hard to
like
do.
like I said, I understand it, but
No, I agree, but I think the scene you're talking about is the Jamaican scene.
yeah. But yeah, otherwise, wasn't terrible. Just like there were decisions that I didn't really agree with, and I didn't like the direction that they went. But it
Yeah,
still was a
if
decent
I
show.
remember correctly, everyone's season 2 except for Daredevil's was worse.
Yes, yes. Daredevil was better.
No, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. I
um,
think
which kind of makes it hurt more for the other ones because like Daredevil set such a high expectation to get better, and then the fact that they weren't, it's like okay.
no, I agree. I agree.
um,
Um, but yeah, so you ready to move on to Harley Quinn? Because next week we're going to be talking about Iron Fist 2.
yep. Let's move on to Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. This was not the episode I was expecting. In every shape of the word. Um,
Nope.
we get a Frankette, which I wasn't prepared for. That was by far the funniest funeral ever.
I love that they've really like foreshadowed everything going on in this season because it's like we saw baby Frank. Did we expect Frank to have a daughter with his mother? No. And what was the whole scene comedy?
It
Absolutely.
was gold.
I love that he knows his friends so well that he predicted everything that they were going to do and just like I love that whole funeral scene. Just it was just like, "Oh, and about now, 5 hours later, you guys are going to be pissed. Going to throw my rag in the grave and out pops a little me." Like,
But he waits until after to be like, "Oh, by now, something should be crawling out, and now it's your responsibility. Take care of her."
yep. Um
Um, I also love Bane being the babysitter, which was
yeah.
hilarious. With Sean and with Frank, yeah, Bane got to shine heavily in this episode for sure, in
Yep.
every way possible, for
Bane
comedy and for action.
and Bomb and wow, and Bane was a good dad in terms of with Goldilocks at school.
Nobody, nobody gives detention to my Goldie. I only
she
punish her.
she does not interrupt, and then she immediately interrupts. And
That's literally what I heard too, and I was just like, "That's hilarious." And the one thing he said she doesn't do, she just did right then and there.
um,
The other thing too was, the whole Lena killing Frank was not on my bingo card. Although
I
makes so much sense. Don't get me wrong.
yep. I was like when it first happened, I was like, I feel like Lena's gonna do something, but then
You
with
were
the way
right
they
and
set up the
wrong.
episode, I was like, oh, all right, it clearly was Brainiac. And then,
But I just love how he's like, I never said I did it.
yeah,
And it's just hilarious because he's not wrong.
he's just so depressed that he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to deal with anything. It's
I
like,
think my favorite part is I had nothing to do with it. And he's like, you killed Frank. He's like, no, I didn't.
no,
But he also doesn't like try to defend himself either, which is even funnier to me because he's just so depressed. And he
yeah,
goes, I'm just deciding to erase Metropolis. We have 999,999 more buildings to go, so it's gonna
I,
take a while.
and I loved that. He didn't. What was it that he just was sitting around? Um, he was sitting around until the song popped up, and then the song just like rejuvenated him once again.
Well, he was also sitting there watching the musical over and over and over again, and then Harley Quinn broke in,
Uh
and then he's like kind of like nonchalantly not giving a crap about her, but then starts talking to the audience, and she's like, "Who are you talking to?" And he's
huh.
like, "Them," and she's like, "Oh, Ivy, I found him." But
Yes. Ivy, he's going crazy.
can we also talk about Ivy trying to use plants and Brainiac just going, "It's because there's no plants here."
Yeah, just she was.
But like he's just laying there like a couch potato, being like, "There's no plants here. No wonder your powers don't work." And then they try to rip off the tentacles off of him, and her bat breaks and she gets Poison Ivy gets electrocuted.
I really loved that whole sequence because it was just it was so perfect to define the power level between Brainiac and them.
But also too, like the best part too is like Brainiac being like, "You're trying to kill me, so I'm just gonna destroy everything."
Yeah, so
And he's
like
just like, "But you need to stop." And he goes, "Why?
he was
What's
like,
the point?"
I was trying to perfect the city before destroying it, but now there's no point.
Now you've just proven that I am crazy. And then I think my favorite is Poison Ivy being like, "We don't have time for a musical." And Harley's like, "Listen to the song and do what it says." And then all of a sudden Poison Ivy goes, "Oh yeah, now I got it."
Yeah.
Um, there were also new songs that we did not hear last episode.
Well, yeah, because we didn't see the entire musical last episode,
No, that
so
is also true. Um, but yeah, no, so good. Then everything was incredible because then Poison Ivy tries to kill Lena, who Lena is smart enough to avoid Poison Ivy and quick enough, and then teleports herself back onto the planet. And then Frank then convinces Ivy to protect Frankette. And then honestly, the greatest fight scene with Sean, Bane, Frankette, and Poison Ivy all defending Metropolis.
yep. And I loved Ivy was so proud of Frankette when she's like, "Oh my
Your
god, you
first
shot your
vine!
first vine!" It's,
Oh, it's just like this is the greatest moment ever.
um,
If only Harley was here to see this. Um,
she went back and forth. Um, she was I was I was honestly surprised with how upset she was with Ivy for not stopping Lena, or was had Lena help her. Um, like because
I think it's more, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's more because it was a lie. She had lied to Ivy.
yes,
I think that I I
well,
think that was more of the no. Hear me out. I think that hurt more, but the Lena part also hurt. Like like both hurt, but I mean the lie took it over the top.
yeah. Um, like obviously I understood like being upset. Oh my god, excuse me. That Lena helped Harley and Harley didn't stop her. I guess obviously, like I said, like you said, she lied, so that escalated it. I was just a little. I was like, oh, I was surprised that she was just as upset as she was. Um,
No, it makes
I just
sense.
kind of assumed that it was gonna go to like, okay, well, let's go kill her now. But
Well, it did kind of.
it did just a little bit of arguing in between, which, like I said, just didn't see that
And
coming.
then Frankette gets taken. And then I love Brainiac being like, "You wanted it?" And she's like, "No, but they did, and that's why I took her."
Yep.
She's like, "I won you in the divorce." And then she starts putting the tentacles in her head, and I was like, "Oh my goodness."
That was messed up.
And then she goes, "Now I am going to do what I want." And Brainiac, the look on Brainiac's face of actual terror for a moment scared me. And that man's crazy.
I want to point out that we yet again went back to feeling guilty for Brainiac. like,
Uh, it was well before this scene that I started feeling bad for Brainiac again. It was
no,
the
no, no.
moment.
I'm saying it like when we found out it wasn't him.
No, no.
Like,
Immediate. They did such a good job because they foreshadowed it so well. Because Lena's like, I don't understand why everyone's feeling bad for him. He's the bad guy, and then you're like, you're right. He is the bad guy, and then it turns out like he is. Don't get me wrong, technically, but like Lena's the real bad guy.
Lena's the one manipulating him. And the funny thing is like she says it. She's like, you just see us meatbags as like inferior, and now this meatbag outsmarted you and is taking over your ship. It's like, wow. She is a Luther, and they are going full metal into that.
And she has similar powers to Brainiac now. It looks like.
Yep. Oh,
Um,
so yeah, supposedly.
well, she pulled the container that Brainiac was in towards her, with telekinesis. It looked like.
Mm.
So I'll be very curious to see. So next episode is going to be the group fighting Lena's army? Question mark.
It's going
Um,
to be them trying to figure out how to get to the ship because.
there's one. So there's one scene that was shown in the trailer that we have not seen yet, and it was with Joker and Lois Lane.
Mhm.
Where he's like, "Go get him, Harley," and he's like, "All right, call Superman," and Lois is like, "You don't trust Harley?" He goes, "There's a bunch of robots coming into
I
Metropolis. I
remember
think
that.
this is a Superman thing.
I remember that now.
This is not a
Um,
baseball bat thing."
I am um
Great talk.
I'm curious how much of an impact Poison Ivy actually will be involved with stopping the Brainiac tech, because in like lore sense, Poison Ivy, and as you saw in the
Injustice
Suicide
2.
Squad game, um Poison Ivy is like a major factor in stopping Brainiac. So, like, something with her chemicals for the plants is able to fight back against Brainiac. So, I'm curious if they will actually go that route, or if they're going to continue to throw their own swerve to make it, you know,
Mike,
a
Mike,
Harley Quinn original.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just gonna tell you right now. We have a Brainiac that we feel bad for. I think anything's game.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying
I'm
it's
being
yes,
honest though.
it's a Brainiac that we feel bad for, but it's a Lena controlled Brainiac now.
That's you know what? That is also very
So
fair.
that's what I meant, because like
No, no,
yes,
I
she's
get
not
it.
stopping Brainiac, but she's stopping the Brainiac tech.
That's fair. All right. Well, that is Harley Quinn. We're gonna be excited for the next episode. I am for sure.
Yep.
There's only 2 episodes left, right?
Honestly, I don't even remember. I haven't have
I
not been
can't
keeping
remember.
track.
I don't remember if it's 3 or 2. But anyway,
I've just been enjoying enjoying
no,
the
it's three.
ride.
Oh, you know what? It's 3 because it's one more week longer than Invincible because Invincible's got 2 more.
Oh, okay.
I do know that.
Like we've talked about, this is the
No, no, this has been
this has been a great episode, the great season.
this has been
They've
I Mike and I have argued over what season's best. I think at the very least I feel like this is my favorite. I don't know if this will hold up to being the favorite, but it is definitely what brought me back into liking Harley Quinn the show.
I've said this. I think season 1 is still the best. Um, I'm don't know if this or season 2 is higher, but obviously, like you said, brings it's they've redeemed themselves after 3 and 4 to me.
Yep.
I know you've said that apparently the critics rate 3 and 4 higher than 1 and 2, which is just baffling to me. But
No, no, I agree with you on that, but I'm just stating like yeah. All right, so let's talk about Invincible. This episode was incredible.
I want to I want to say that I was
Scott
right. I
Scott is
was
the
I
greatest.
was I was right, because I said like something happened where it was like he did something to his family, and there was the meme with there was a meme. Do you remember the comedian that our roommate in college loved, that I personally hated? He was the guy with the afro that was just going around doing really annoying things and made people uncomfortable, that was coming onto their talk show, onto his.
Yes. Yes.
There was
I
one scene where there's one episode where it was he he shoots his guest, and he
no.
turns around and says, "Oh, why would you make me do this to you?"
No, doesn't no. I thought it was so I know what you're talking about. But
Is it Eric Andre? Was that his
yes,
name?
yes. No, what the actual scene is, he asks his guest host to pick one of them, and then she picks one randomly, and then he shoots that one and goes, "Why did you make me do this?"
Okay, yeah.
So like the meme makes it look like it's you,
But yes, the
but
meme.
it's but that woman supposedly had no idea what was going on,
Uh-huh.
and like she was terrified that this guy just killed somebody because she told him to do it.
Hmm. But so like what I was going on to say is that that's where I saw the meme. It was they were mentioning I don't remember his name.
Scott.
No. Well, was that his human name? No, his power. I don't. The name was his power.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, but it was he killed his family, and he's like, look at what Invincible made me do when it was he did it. So that's what I was talking about before. How I said that's the spoiler that I seen. So I was waiting for that to happen, and when it finally showed up, I was like, don't do this. No, no, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't prepared for it, and it threw me off so much. And he is my favorite character so far because of how weird like the world is, because he hates Invincible for legitimate reasons, don't get me wrong. But then his wife got weird about it too, and like she was pushing him harder to like, you need to do this, and he's like, no, people are gonna get hurt, and she's like, no, just do it. And then people got hurt, but it was the people he cared the most about.
Yeah, yeah. The funny thing is, so when obviously when the episode started, and I had said I saw that spoiler, and his sister and niece
Nice
got
guy.
died, I was like, okay, so clearly that spoiler was wrong. And then it like was progressing, and I saw his wife and daughter, or wife
Son.
and son, and I was like, no, don't tell me this is gonna all lead up to a tragic backstory, and it very much did. And it was like this played out. They played that episode out so well,
No,
and
they did.
it was the perfect tragic villain backstory. Like it was, eh, a, he couldn't touch Invincible because obviously, yes, Invincible did these horrible things, but it wasn't his fault. It was his father. And Invincible's just getting blamed for it, unfortunately, because he's the one that can get blamed for it.
Because he's the one
And
around.
yeah, and eh, I just loved it. It was so funny because he wanted Invincible's attention, and the entire episode, Invincible, he
Was
couldn't
just
get
a
Invincible's
humorous.
attention.
Like it was just the right amount of humor and like sadness all wrapped into one. I also like that they purposely didn't have Cecil in this episode at all.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yes,
He was like he's still working with them without
working
work
with them,
without working with them. It's just Cecil he doesn't trust, which is the wild part.
which is my favorite part, especially when he goes, FYI, that tech isn't ours. Cecil wasn't lying about that, and he's like, oh, and it's like, yeah, we don't know where that is yet. We're still trying to figure that out. We get the answer now.
And Mike was right, even though Scott doesn't want to admit that.
Yeah, but we're also getting what Scott wants, which is an
You
invincible
did. Yep.
multiverse.
When I saw that at the end, I was like, "Oh wow, Scott's gonna be thrilled." What's funny is I sent the "Oh my
Scott's gonna be
god."
thrilled.
I sent the "Oh my god" after the family died, and then
So I was
it
too
cut to
afraid to
that.
ask you. I was too afraid to ask you what you said that to, because I was afraid that you were going to be like, "Oh, more happens," and I'd be like, I don't want to ruin that for him."
Scott, I'm not like you. I watch, and I know there's a post credit scene that comes for Invincible, so I make sure to watch it. Unlike someone who
No,
isn't positive.
no, no, no. What I meant was I didn't want you to get like super excited about the idea of something else coming up. I don't mean the after credit scene. I knew you knew that existed, but I meant like I didn't want you to think, like is there something else supposed to happen, and then you're
Oh,
waiting.
yeah,
The anticipation of it, meaning
yeah,
like the anticipation of you going, oh, there's something else coming, when
yep,
I don't want that to be the case.
yeah. No, but yeah, I saw that. I'm
But
like,
I
oh,
get your
Scott's gonna
point.
be
Yes,
thrilled, and I liked seeing the different Invincibles, which some of them were ones that you mentioned.
there were.
So
I'm curious, and I said this in my own video. where how did Landstrom get the ones that are 100% Viltrumites,
Yeah,
like on the side of Viltrumites? How did he get them to join him?
yeah. No, that's one of the main
The rest
questions.
of
Is
them,
like, how
the
does
rest of
that?
them, I'm not concerned about so much, as that one. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm curious how it works
Because
together.
there were two that were Viltrumites.
At least two.
Well, yes. So there might be more who were like on the side of Viltrumites, but there were two that were like clearly full on
Very
Viltrumites.
much Filtermite. Yeah. They got the stash and everything. Yeah, no, I loved that, and I loved this episode was Mark confronting his past in a way. I didn't realize
Yes.
that Mark had never really been willing to like embrace what happened. He just, like he was just kind of glossing over, pretending it didn't happen until the memorial finally went up, and he was like, his
Mhm.
Eve was like, "No, you have to do this." Um, and I loved that Debbie's new boyfriend is trying so hard to fit in, and he just can't.
I feel bad, but it's just funny to me
Oh
because
yeah,
he is trying his best, but it's just not working out. Um, but yeah, overall, this was a great episode. We know that this is the Langstrom that he supposedly killed.
I'll be honest, I wasn't positive on that, and I'm not saying because the like his brain is whatever. It was more just because I'm wondering if there are other Langstroms that went through an experience that
That's fair.
uh
That's fair. I just thought because the brain thing and the eye thing combined
yes.
made me go with that.
I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, so maybe he's not dead. But then I was thinking about it more. I was like, I wonder if this is like a multiverse thing.
I mean, it's still it's a weird convoluted thing because it's like it
Yep.
still can be and like but also still be the same Landstrom but a different body.
The reason why I started thinking it might have been multiverse thing is because if this was the Langstrom that he supposedly killed, he hates Invincible so much. Why would he go seek out the even worse Invincibles to work with him? You know what I mean? But again, he could just because this Invincible quote unquote foiled his plans that he just hates him so much because of that. It's that he needs to take him out. But it was like his goal is to destroy all of Invincibles. You know, why would he seek out the worst offenders? And if it's the same one,
They, I will say this, it is explained in the comics. Why? Um, I just the one thing that I've never known and I don't quite understand
Mhm.
is how he got what he got. Meaning, like,
The mechanics.
well, no, it was more the fact of how he got the Invincibles to join up with him. That was always the thing that confused me.
I'm
Um,
sure that the show will try to
no, no,
explain
no.
it.
They will explain it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not worried about that. I'm just stating for myself, like I personally don't know,
Okay.
because they're saying that a lot of things are going to be happening in these next two episodes
I mean, I
potentially.
can see it.
Fans,
They're putting a
no,
lot.
but I mean two very different things, and I don't know how they are related.
Okay.
Um, because it doesn't make sense to me, but I haven't read the comics fully.
Yeah.
I know the arcs.
Yeah.
I know the arcs. I don't know details of each individual arc. Um, but it looks like they're like trying to if if what people are saying is factual, which does not mean it is, that there's going to be two arcs in the last two episodes, which does not make sense to me because they're very big arcs. But I'm wondering how they're going to do it.
When you're saying two big arcs, are you talking about like the fact that it's going to be the Invincible War and the Viltrumite War? Or are you saying there's two big arcs with the Invincibles?
A lot of things
Because
happen with the
technically they're
Invincible War.
telling like two different stories right now, or trying to.
So like yes, and so that's why they could both be true, happening at the same time. I what? So something happens with the Viltrumites. Yes, that I'm thinking of, but I won't go into detail of what that is. Um,
Okay.
well, I'll say this because this doesn't ruin anything, because this doesn't tell you anything else other than the idea of like the Viltrumites come back to Earth, which you shouldn't be surprised about anyway.
I'm
But
expecting
it's
that.
but it's somebody specific. Um, and let's just say you might not like if it happens the way they say it's going to happen. I'm going to be pissed off with the end of season
Oh,
3.
okay.
And when I say pissed off, it's going to be because it's going to end like how I thought they were going to end Endgame. Oh shit.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah,
Now not to that level necessarily, but like you're going to be like who's alive and who's dead type of thing.
yeah. Because obviously, as soon as you said the Viltrumites are going to be coming back, it's going to be either two. It's going to be either the leader or it's going to be Nolan. Um, but obviously now after you're saying that, it's legitimate. Probably, it'll be the leader, but or someone of that ilk. But
Let's just say like if it does happen, I don't understand how it could be for one episode. Is more of what I'm getting at. That's just
yeah,
me.
yeah.
That, I'm not saying they can't do a good job. I'm saying it's not making sense to this guy
Eh,
because something's supposed to happen in between it to make it so Earth has a way of defending itself, and that hasn't happened yet. So it doesn't make sense for them to do that.
it's just you're getting closer to your eye there. You try.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for it regardless. How they're going to do it. But the rumor is they're gonna. The rumor is that the next episode is going to be the Invincible War, and then the following episode is the Viltrumite invasion. I say it that way because I don't want to ruin anything for you, because there's many different invasions.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Um,
Let's just say the one I'm talking about is like the biggest one that shows Earth that they are not prepared for any Viltrumite period.
yeah, which I mean we obviously kind of figure that because if they're saying Mark is their best defense, uh, they're not prepared. Because we know Mark can't hang with the Viltrumites yet.
No, but the idea is he's stronger now, so their thought is he can hold up himself better, and he can to some Viltrumites. And to be fair, he could before certain Viltrumites, not all of them. Bear with me. He killed one on Throxan.
Yeah,
Thraxan.
did he? I thought Nolan
Well,
killed him.
he broke her jaw, and it's like
Oh yeah.
it's
Because
insinuated.
she was taunting him, and she broke his jaw, and then she proceeded to beat him to an inch of his life, and then Nolan came and saved him.
Yes, but like she was. You get my point, though.
She was hurt.
To me, that's a Viltrumite's death, because it shows that you are too weak to be allowed to stay. Um, and that's the only reason why Invincible lived, was because they realized, oh, I guess you're a half breed that's worth keeping around for now.
Yeah. Well,
But
okay. Well, it was multiple layers because it was Nolan failed in his duty. You're the next in line to get Earth to follow the protocol.
yeah,
So it was
you have so many months to do so, and we'll be back.
yeah. So, but all right. I mean, I after this episode, I'm looking forward to the next episode. Like you said, we have two questions that need to be answered, two big ones. Which so we're going to find out next episode which direction they go in. Um,
Yep.
and
Also, I love the names. So also the reason why people are saying what they're saying about it is because of the thumbnails of the episodes.
and I still have not seen them, so I don't know
I
that.
have.
Okay. So you kind of have more of a spoiler than I do because I haven't.
Well, it doesn't. I'll say this: it really doesn't give anything away. So it's like the group comes together. It looks like to like
Mhm.
defend Earth, and then in the final episode, it's Mark and Oliver bleeding on the ground.
speaking of group coming together, I know this is completely going into left field, but Rex could potentially leave the superhero business.
I don't think he's
Uh,
gonna.
I like he.
All right, let me rephrase it this way. I know he doesn't.
Okay, that's fair. Um,
But fun fact, I think we've probably very much briefly touched on this. Monster Girl is actually a creature that Viltrumites are afraid of.
oh yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
So the thought is, so you know, the younger she is, the stronger the monster.
Oh, okay. So
So,
technically, then Rex, robot is like nerfing her.
but she doesn't know that because she's kind of stayed in the same age range.
Yeah.
Um, and the idea is when she's a baby, she's like Godzilla esque.
Oh, okay.
So, like, think literally like what we saw in What If.
Hmm. So does she legitimately like become a kaiju, or is it just like the strength level like
No,
increases?
no, no. She legitimately becomes the size like kaiju.
Oh, that's
Like
pretty cool.
now that's in the comics. That doesn't mean it's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yep.
But Viltrumites were actually shaking.
That's cool. That's
Like
cool.
like one of the guys says, I don't like that you used her, like that. She's like, oh, it's fine. He goes, all you have to do is just put her to sleep and then she'll be fine. He's like, no, she's too strong. And it's like it's somebody who's like one of the strongest Viltrumites who was actually like scared.
That's cool.
And that's such a random thought for you, but just so you know that, Monster Girl is somebody people are actually legitimately afraid of.
Gives me more to look forward to in the future. Like
That's the other
wondering.
thing too, where it's like I don't know where they're going. Like, and
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's because like they're speeding up certain things and slowing things of others. So it's like I don't know where things are like going.
That's kind of like what I'm a little bit iffy with, because if they're rushing to the Invincible War and the Viltrumite War in terms of this, like I like if next episode is the Invincible War and it's only next episode, that could be an entire season worth of stuff. Like so, like if it's just glossed over, that would be
I don't think it's a full season worth. I'll say that. I will be honest and say that, but it's definitely half a season, in my opinion.
either
It's
way. One episode gloss over isn't enough. So at least to me. And again, just because it was a certain way in the comics doesn't mean.
also they could be doing
Excuse me.
both at the same time, meaning like
Yeah,
so it's not just one episode.
but like what I'm saying is like they could change it so that way it gets expanded on. So it
Yes.
doesn't necessarily like they could turn it into a full season if they wanted to, if it works. Obviously, you don't want to crush the quality of the show, but even still, like you said, they could turn both of those into, you know, it's finally happening next season. You know, um, so we'll see. Hopefully, I'm sure it seems like they know they have the full confidence of what they're doing. So we'll have to see, and I'm looking forward to it.
As am I. Um, yeah, I got nothing else. You want to move on to the character spotlight?
Yep, I know you want to go to bed, so
Yeah. Yes, I do.
um, my character. I will try to go through this quickly for you. My character is Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern. Um,
Shock.
she was first introduced in uh 2014 in a Justice League comic. Um, there it is. Um, Jessica Cruz, when she was younger, went on a hunting trip with some of her friends. Unfortunately, they came across a group of mobsters who were burying a body. The mobsters ended up realizing they were being watched. They hunted down Jessica and her friends and killed all of them except for Jessica. Jessica managed to escape, but this left her extremely traumatized by the event. Uh, this left her with massive anxiety, and she basically isolated herself for 4 years. Um, after oh,
Sorry.
um, after this resulted in her being chosen by the Ring of Volthoom. which is the um, which is the yellow ring. Um,
So the fear ring?
yes.
Why didn't you say Sinestro ring? Or is that not what it's called anymore?
So this is where it's a little bit weird because this is from her comic origin is kind of with the Earth 3, which is with the crime syndicate.
Sorry, never mind.
So I didn't know if that is legitimately like,
It's
you know,
no, understood, understood. Sorry,
um,
that makes more sense to me.
so unlike the ring's predecessor, the ring forced itself upon Jessica and took over her body. Under the influence of the ring, she attacked her hometown and was confronted by the Justice League and the Doom Patrol. Through the intervention of Batman, Jessica was able to overcome the ring's influence, and he told her that he was a victim just like her, and that she needed to find the strength, even at the worst moments, to overcome her fears. Um, Eventually, she allied herself with the Justice League, and the Flash called in Hal Jordan, which is obviously Earth's first Green Lantern. Hal Jordan taught Jessica how to overcome her fears and to master the use of the ring. Later down the road, Darkseid's daughter Grail invaded Earth, and she attacked Jessica using her ring to summon the Anti-Monitor to fight her father. Thinking of ways to stop the fighting between the Anti-Monitor and Darkseid, Jessica helped Mr. Miracle break out of the crime syndicate in order to fight the rampaging monsters. The ring being in close proximity to the syndicate, however, overwhelmed Jessica, and the being inside the ring possessed her body and mind once again. When Grail summoned the Black Racer, the new god of death, to kill the Flash, Jessica maintained enough control of her body to jump in the path of the Black Racer and seemingly kill herself to save the Flash. Um, but instead, the Black Racer, instead of killing Jessica, killed the entity inside the ring. Uh, this caused the power ring to crumble apart on Jessica's finger, and this allowed her to overcome her fear. And at that moment, um, a Green Lantern ring sought out Jessica for her to become the newest Green Lantern of Earth. After the Darkseid War, Jessica was kicked out of her apartment, and at the orders of Hal Jordan himself, to test her and another new Green Lantern, Simon Baz, uh, they they were ordered by Hal to team work together, and they were terrible. They didn't like each other. They couldn't get along. So Hal, as punishment, decided to take both of their power source battery rings, combined it into one, and said, "You two have to work together, figure it out." And eventually, they did. Um, Even though she had become an official Green Lantern, she was struggling to get the hang of her powers, and her anxiety was not making it easy for her. Simon was Simon was unhappy being stuck with her, and the situation got worse when the Red Lantern Corps attacked Earth to make their new world full of rage. Jessica was with her sister Sarah Cruz when they got attacked, and the Red Lanterns filled her sister with rage. Simon rescued her, causing more tension between them. She returned the favor to returned the favor to Simon, but it was revealed that she had gotten in his way of curing the Red Lantern, one of the Red Lantern's bleeds. They tried their best uh, to not make any more mistakes, but things got worse when she got infected by rage. They fell into the surface of Earth, and Simon tried to cure her as he did with the earlier Red Lantern. This time he succeeds, and he encourages her to help him fight off the Red Lanterns. Uh, Unfortunately, she got a panic attack in the middle of the battle, and this corrupted her mind, giving her negative thoughts, and her anxiety kind of, like I said, gave her a panic attack. Um, she started to fight with her fears, and instead of her willpower, and the fears started taking over. Eventually, she helped Simon take down the Red Lantern leader at Atros. And after that, they finally got along and accepted each other as partners. Later, as they arrived at Simon's house, a guardian of the universe was waiting for them. He demanded that he needed to see Hal Jordan, the legendary Green Lantern, but Hal was in space, not answering their calls. The guardian revealed himself as Rami, the rogue guardian, and he was the creator of the Phantom Ring. Um, the the Phantom Ring, just so you know, is a power ring that was created by Rami as a weapon to use uh, if any Green Lantern, if their willpower wasn't strong enough to overcome their fears, it was basically a weapon to stop that lantern from falling to their enemy, I guess, is the better way to put it. Later down the road, it was Halloween, and Jessica was having a hard time fighting her social anxiety to hang out with Simon's family. She even tried to run away, but Simon stopped her before she found Darkseid and saw what he was doing for dinner. Simon promised her if she helped him make cookies, she doesn't have to make small talk with his family. And by the time that they were done, Guardian Rami was missing, and they went to find him. They finally found him after knocking on 28 doors. Unfortunately, he freaked out and ran away, and the next time the lanterns were not going to let him get away so easily. So they chased him down and caught up to him. And when they confronted him, they got attacked by aliens called Dominators who wanted the Phantom Ring for themselves. Simon and Jessica were able to take them down and protect the Phantom Ring, and finally Rami explained about the Phantom Ring and how it was the most dangerous weapon in the universe. She was again introduced in the Superman comic, The Doomsday Clock. She just kind of helped a little bit here and there. She has some run-ins with some Yellow Lanterns. Again, when she felt because of her constant battle with fear and anxiety, she was constantly getting corrupted, and it's kind of a back and forth of whether she was able to keep her willpower intact. Going through some powers and abilities. She has the power of summoning, which, according to this, is due to her being the last person to wield the Ring of Voltrum. Jessica is capable of summoning the power of the Green Realm and banishing others to it. And so the Green Realm is a area where anybody who has ever had a Green Lantern ring, it's basically like their afterlife. So anyone, she has the ability to send people there and get people out.
Valhalla, basically.
Yeah, actually, yeah. She is an expert with firearms because she is an expert in firearms, and she is an expert combatant because she herself has trained with Wonder Woman. The Flash has also trained her a little bit with what the little fighting experience he actually has. And also Flash has helped her with her willpower in general. He helped her control her fear and anxiety. She is a good hunter. When she doesn't get corrupted by her anxiety, she has indomitable will. Apparently, she is very good at intimidating people. Something that is one of her main character traits, which I have said a lot of the times, is the anxiety. She has a lot of PTSD, and that is a very recurring theme for her character, trying to overcome her past trauma. Obviously, witnessing her friends get murdered because they witnessed a crime will do a lot to someone. And as usual, social anxiety, modern kid. So that's kind of it for now for her. I figured, seeing that there is a animated show coming out about her, give you a little feedback about her if you were listening.
I was. All right. Well, that's going to be it for tonight. We're going to be talking about the series premiere of Daredevil Born Again. I hesitated on how I want to describe it because I think it's considered a new season because they've changed the thumbnail for Daredevil. I don't know if you've noticed. I think it might have changed now to Born Again, but at one point it was literally just a blank with just the name Daredevil in it because they were getting ready for the new season.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
So it's not going to be like so it's going to be season 4 of Daredevil in Disney Plus.
I mean, makes sense.
No, it does, but I'm just saying I'm making a point
Yeah.
for a reason. But anyway, so we're going to be watching the 2 episode season premiere of Daredevil. We're going to be talking about season 2 of Iron Fist, the latest episode of Harley Quinn, and the latest episode of Invincible. So for now, if you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Heel Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.